Where you going? Where are you going there, buddy? Trying to run away. Today we're doing some more work on the 1962 wagon. We're going to be aligning the front end and driving it for the first time. In the last video we ended off, we did a will it run on this car. My dad bought it. It was somebody's, I don't want to say failed restoration project. It's probably more of an abandoned restoration project. And we were able to get it running, but we weren't able to drive it because none of this was on. So the drag link and the tie rod ends were not on it, so we couldn't drive it, but now they are on it. But the tires are all goofed out, so we're gonna try to align it ourselves and drive it.
I don't know if you can see it or not, but the tires are, there's no shims in it, and the front end's just, they took all the shims out, obviously threw them away, and went and bought some shims, Harbor Freight, and it's been 40 years since I've aligned the front end, so we're going to do it.
So these body shims are from Harbor Freight.
Oh, are they body shims?
That's what they're called, body shim assortment. But you can put these on your A-arms, and you can align it that way.
Dude,
huh?
I didn't even pay no attention to that.
What?
Are they going to be usable? I didn't even think about that. I thought that they were regular front end shims.
It's the same thing. If they fit over the bolt, it'll work.
I don't even know if they will or not. I didn't even look. Dang it.
Those shims go over this bolt and that bolt. Changes the angle of your A-arm and it pulls the tire this way or that way. And then, I'm sure some of you know this, but some people might not. And then down there you can see that threaded rod right there. If you turn that in or turn that out, it'll push your tire that way or that way. So there's toe in or toe out and toe in, and then there's caster and camber and all that. So normally in a shop setting, you would have this car on an alignment rack, and an alignment rack has little turntables on each side where the tires go, so the tires can rotate independently of each other because they're hard to rotate on solid ground. But we got a solution for that. We're going to try to use a car dolly.
Whole car seems to be trying to move.
There we go.
Instructions. So we're going to go over it. Hopefully it'll work.
So that goes on the tire?
This actually goes in the middle where you take the dust cap off, and it goes where the dust cap goes. It's magnetized. This is what I used to use back in the early 80s. This is what I used, but it's been 40 years. Alright, attach the gauge to the spindle. Rotate the gauge until the small vial at the end of the gauge shows level.
Level.
Read the camber. Read the camber directly on one of the two vials. Read the line nearest to the center of the bubble.
The instructions told us to turn the tire 20 degrees, and how we know that is because these are 3 different angles, and when this is parallel with the car, once we got to 20 degrees, which is where we're at, 20 degrees this way, you're supposed to rotate the caster gauge right here. We're moving it this way to where it's level.
Okay, so now it's level.
Right, level is at 0. So now it told us to turn the wheel back to straight. Well, you turned it too far. Turned it way too far. Turn it back. Okay.
It's got to be lined up with the side of the car.
No.
Or do I got to turn it?
Well, until it looks parallel, and it doesn't look parallel. It looks like it. There you go. That looks better. We should get a straight edge. We should get a straight edge on that and see. So according to the book, 67 Chevy, but I know this is a 62, but throughout the years, the camber doesn't really change at all. So the camber should be 1/4 degree positive. Range in degrees is 1/4 to 3/4 on the camber. So to our understanding, with the wheel straight, and this bubble level and the tire straight, the camber should read quarter to half positive. The negative camber bubble is all the way maxed out, because if we had negative camber, this bubble would be reading. But since we have positive camber, this bubble is reading. And we have way too much positive camber. It's 2.5 degrees. So we actually need to shim it. We need to shim the A-arm this way, and that's going to bring the bubble down to down here. And that is adjusted through here. If we unloosen these, this A-arm should travel that way.
Golly, put that on there. Oh, man.
And as he's loosening those up, this should be changing. So right now we're at 2.5, and as that loosens, that bubble should go down, down, down. We're level, and we're at see, that's a quarter, that's a half, so we get a quarter to 3/4. It said preferable setting is a 1/4 of a degree positive camber. That bubble is exactly between a 1/4 and a half, which is in the acceptable range. So these are the shims from Harbor Freight. The point of these is to go in between there.
Might actually, I don't even think I can actually put another one in there.
Looks good to me.
So let me tighten it up real quick.
Now that we have our camber right, well, what'd you do?
Nothing.
Okay, well, now it's at like between half and 3/4, but that's still within spec. I don't know, maybe you're leaning on it. It is. Yeah, well, it changes when you do that. Now it's at half.
Because it says to bounce the front end
Every time you make an adjustment?
You do it.
Yeah, now it's at half. Exactly half.
Okay.
So with the wheels 20 degrees this way, this needs to be level, and this knob, you turn, see how it adjusts that bubble? It should be 0, right there. And then we turn the wheel 20 degrees the other way and read the caster, and that tells us what our caster, the measurement of our caster, and then where we need to put it. It's kind of a complicated little process. I haven't done this before.
Ready?
So turn the wheel 20 degrees the other way. And then this needs to be parallel with the car. Okay, wait. Let me. Turn it. Okay. That looks pretty parallel with the car. Now that we've turned the tire, this is not level. It says once you turn the tire, level it again. Center vial says 2 degrees.
Okay, so we're shooting for...
What's it say it should be? Camber, caster. 67 Chevy, not Corvette. Caster, regular, preferred. That's camber. So 1/4 to 1 1/4. So we are off.
No cussing. Oh, you mean a magnet?
No, that's alright, I got it. Whatever. We tighten this up all the way, and we're going in the right direction, but you can see this caster is at 1 3/4. We need it to be between 1/4 and 1 1/4. So he's loosening it up. Did you loosen it?
Alright, so
Let's take another shim out. And we're at 0. So
seriously?
yeah, we're at 0. So it has to go. It has to go positive.
Can you freaking believe that? So let's check just for the heck of it, let's check the...
Check the camber?
Yeah.
All right, so turn it back to the middle. And 3/4.
It hasn't changed it much.
So we just got through shimming it up, changing some of it, checking it again, and so go back now. So go all the way back. So turn it. So, okay. Level this out, the end one. Zero out the caster bubble and turn it 40 degrees. Okay, so then you level it out again, half. So you can get, I think, between 1/4 and 1 1/4 degrees. So half a degree is perfectly acceptable. Go back to the center. Bubbles level. Our camber is at 1/2 degree. So that's good. That's totally within spec. Now we're going to do the passenger side tire, but probably won't show you that side because we kind of cobbled the other side together. I mean, we did it right, but it took us a minute because Dad hasn't done it since the 80s, and I've never done it. I've never even used that tool. I did take auto class in high school, and they had an alignment rack, but it was all digital. So they had like these scanners at the front and a computer, and then they had these plates that you screwed onto the rim, and this is a totally different way than I even tried it in high school. So yeah, a little bit of a learning curve, but I think we got it. We're undoing the tie rods to adjust our toe, and then we should be able to take it for our first drive.
Ready?
Ready. Man, that's a nice running motor. Sure is close to that concrete though. Heck yeah. Close that door all the way. So it runs and drives for the first time in probably at least 10 years or more. But a couple things. The transmission is not getting second gear. We're not sure if that's a TV cable issue. It's full of tranny fluid, so it could be the cable that goes from the carburetor down to the transmission. We probably think that's what it is because it gets first gear pretty good. So not sure what that is yet. It steers good. After the alignment, it steers good. And I want to give you guys an update on the 1960 El Camino. If you've been following that, have a whole series on that, check it out. So in the last video I said my dad was getting ready to paint the valance panels, which are these. So they have since been painted and put on. The lenses and the housings have been put on. They're all nice and blue in the same color of the car. Those look really, really good. And also the bed is bed linered and then painted. So it was bed linered black and then painted the color of the car. So it looks more natural now. It doesn't look all rusty and nasty. So that looks really good. The front valance panels are put on, painted with the lenses and housings in them. So this thing is looking really good. If you have not seen the first videos on this or the build on this, go check it out. This thing was worse than a junkyard dog. It was terrible. Still have to put the glass in it. I think the glass is already in, the side glass. Probably gonna put some gaskets around the vent windows. And also I want to thank a subscriber, Bill. A subscriber sent us a lens because we don't have all the lenses, so he sent us a lens he had laying around. So thank you, Bill, for that. He sent it to our P.O. box. Our P.O. box is right here, and it's in the description if you want to send us some mail, send us some junk, send us whatever. But yeah, thank you for that. Very much appreciated. Fits the 62 perfectly. But we also need to figure out this hood issue. You can see right here, it's not really lining up proper. When you try to shut it, it's hitting the fender pretty hard and it's protruding out a lot. But no matter how we align it, it's never right. This is all the way forward. These holes are slotted. You can see how it's all the way forward here and all the way back over here. So it's cocked this way, and no matter how we adjust it, it just does not shut right. So what we're going to do is try and take the hood off and actually move the hinges themselves if those hinges have an adjustment, because we need to move this hood over that way. Little boo-boo being the supervisor.
He's a supervisor.
Hey, buddy. Come here.
He's a supervisor.
He's a good dog. Aren't you, buddy? Can you even hear me? Well, this ain't right.
What? These are halves. Hold up.
What do you got in there? You sure that's a half?
That's a 9.
Alright.
Let's just lean it up over here. Be all right. See that somehow. I don't know, unloosen that one over there.
Is it moving at all?
It's not moving out. Well, it's okay, it's moving out a little bit here.
So there's no shims in this fender to push it out, and usually there's shims in there, and you can see, remember how and the fender was not aligned with the door. So see, now we're getting a pretty big gap here. Yeah, those fenders were the hood was just slamming against the fenders, and those slots go this way, they don't go that way. So there's no adjustment of the hood this way. And I also, these bolts were loosened, and you can see where it was riding here and here and here. I pulled this fender out a little bit, and we also did the same thing over there with that fender, just pulled it out a little bit. Let's see, does that look any better?
Oh yeah, we got it.
Yeah, it looks better. It's not as big of a, this isn't in so far. Yeah.
I mean, the general rule of thumb is the thickness of a paint strip, or paint stick, I mean. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I don't know. Now it's kind of way off. Okay, hold it up real quick. All right, hold it up real quick, and then I'll. It's got a bad angle. All right, let me.
Hold on, I'll go there.
You got to start the back one first. Sandy. Whoa, we're real bad over here. Well,
Yeah, the hood. So if you look, there's a big gap there, and then it hits the fender here, and then let me see what it looks like. We got a big gap here, and it closes in there. So the hood is cocked that way. So if we cock it that way, it might help us out. Alright, well, let's see if it will shut. There, that's much better. Yeah. This lines up pretty good right here. But if you come over here, see how it's coming forward. But if you put it back, then it hits the fender, you know, because the hood does this.
It's a game of crookedness.
Yeah, it's a game of crookedness. What do you think about that, Boo? How do we straighten this hood out?
It's a game of crookedness.
Huh? Tell me how to straighten it out.
Now this gap's just fine now. This is totally acceptable. Hard to believe that there was a time in this country that people used to just love to watch. They love every week Hee Haw. I used to watch it when I was a kid. Hee Haw. Mom watched it. I'd sit there and watch it. And I know. Dolly Parton and Porter Wagner. Bobby Goldsboro Show. Cher.
Sonny and Cher.
Sonny and Cher. Watch Sonny and Cher. And Carol Burnett. Loved Carol Burnett.
So we've done enough shimmying and jimmying on this hood where we think we've got it. It took us a minute to do it. I mean, it was crazy. I've never seen a hood like that, but we got the gap good around the center panel, coming around here, looking good here, looking good all down here, looking good all the way up front. This matches up, all lines up pretty good. I mean, as good as you're really going to get it. So yeah,
a little bit right here, but
it's a hair bit off right here, but this fender, you can see that it's behind this trim. But if you look over here, this fender is a hair bit in front of this trim. So I mean, it's whatever, you know. The car is it's just how it is. But I think we've got it as good. You can't catch it with the naked eye unless you're really looking, and that's what we're going for, right? Yeah. Don't forget, guys, me and Dad are going to be at the Duct Tape Drags here in Tucson, Arizona at the Tucson, Arizona Dragway, September 30th. We're just going to be at the car show, hanging out. We're going to bring, I think, the El Camino and the 46 International. Drop it down in the comments if you're going to go, if you're going to be there, and hopefully me and Dad run into a few of you guys. You guys really liked the fly and drive I did with the Dodge Cummins, the first-gen Dodge Cummins that I bought in Iowa and drove 1,300 miles back to Tucson. I have another fly and drive planned. Actually, I'm leaving tomorrow morning. I'm flying from here to New Jersey for a 1960 Impala. That's going to be crazy. But make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have the notification bell turned on so that you know when that video comes out, because this is a pretty serious video for me. We got a long way to go once we get there. That's my ride home. If you guys want to help the channel out in a more direct way, I've opened up channel memberships. There's 2 different tiers. There's a few cool little perks in there that you might like, that you might enjoy. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. In the next video, I will be in New Jersey.